I recognize the member from Benton, Representative Wolgamott.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I rise one last time to say, wow, what a glorious honor and blessing it has been to represent the nitty-gritty Granite City of St. Cloud, Minnesota with you all for the last 8 years. I have been thinking a lot about how to best describe why the Minnesota House is such a special place, why we love it so much. And I keep coming back to a song that I first learned in Sunday school when I was a boy, and I would like to share the lyrics of it with you now. It's called Make a Difference by Rachel Kurtz. I want my life to make a difference. I want my life to make a change. I want my life to do some good here. I want my life to make a change. Working side by side, no out or inside, together we can make that change. Crossing the great divide, joy and peace will abide. Together we can make that change. And that's what's so special about getting to serve here. Members, we are each one of only 134 people in the entire state that have been sent here by our communities to make a difference and to make the change. We're trusted with that responsibility. And I believe it's that spirit of service that truly makes this such a special institution. And it's that spirit of service that served as the catalyst to my journey to be here with you in the House. A journey that started on a hot September day back in 2009 in good old Collegeville, Minnesota. There was a College Democrats meeting on campus, and I heard there were going to be not one but two Minnesota legislators there. And I was really bummed that I had to miss it because we had football practice at the exact same time. But as luck would have it, Coach, for whatever reason, let us out of practice about 15 minutes early. So I threw off my helmet and pads, I ran to the cafeteria, and just as they were closing out, I was able to meet two people who forever changed my life. Former Representative Larry Hosch and former Senator Terrell Clark. And I had the opportunity to work with them, to be on their campaigns, to come here to the House and the Senate. And I just was so struck by what a difference you can make here in the Minnesota legislature. And hearing the stories from Larry and Terrell's constituents. I also got to work with Representative Zach Dorholt, and just getting to see the impact that they were able to use their office here, both in making an impact through legislation, as well as what they were able to do for their constituents. I heard so many stories of how constituent services can really make a difference in people's lives. So I knew that this was where I wanted to be. So in 2023, fresh out of college, I launched my campaign for the Minnesota House. 2013. I launched my campaign for the House. Want to give a special shout out to Matt Lindstrom and John Taylor and the McCarthy Center at St. John's University for that network of Johnny Benny's support. We ran a great campaign, but I got smoked by about 10 points. Wasn't meant to be that year. But I loved it. I loved getting out and door knocking and meeting my community members. So I gave it another try in 2016. Now, I usually don't like to admit this, but it is the last day, so I feel like it's time to, give some confessions. I ran for the Senate in 2016. I know. And I know, the last day, that's why I'm telling you this. And I admit, I came as close as you can get to being a senator without actually having to be a senator. I lost the closest race in the state. We had a month-long recount. I was devastated. I thought, okay, I've done this twice. My spirit of service that makes me want to run for the legislature wasn't meant to be, and I kind of let that fire die out in my heart. And then one day I got a call that changed my life again. On April 14th of 2017, I got a call from DFL House Minority Leader, Melissa Hortman. And I couldn't figure out why she was calling me. And she asked me if I would be willing to run for the House. And I said, look, I've already ran twice, I lost twice. She said, no. She said, you're going to join me in the third time's the Charm Club, because I also ran and lost twice before I won. So after a lot of thought, I followed the speaker's advice and gave it one more try. And sure enough, that was it. The third time was the charm. And I had the profound honor of getting elected by the good people of St. Cloud and getting to join you all here in the House of Representatives. And I'll never forget my first day being a member, getting sworn into this chamber. I'm soaking it all in. I was told it was going to be a ceremonial day where, we go in and then we drink punch and eat cookies. And I was sitting right over there between Sydney and Jay and Aaron's desk. I got Polly. Polly was, I think, 3 at the time. I'm holding Polly, just soaking it all in. And all of a sudden I hear, will Representative Wolgamott yield for a question? And I thought I was imagining things. And so I look up from Polly, and everyone's looking at me. And thankfully, Jay was like, well, you say yes. And I was like, yes. And I don't know why it keeps coming back to you, Representative Nash, but Representative Nash was really curious what I thought about some change to the rules. And so thankfully, Representative Nash, she took about 5 minutes to ask her question. She gave me just enough time to get my bearings. And and I went and grabbed the mic and I started talking, and Jay said, Wolgie, you gotta stand up. So thanks for always having my back, Jay. I stood up, I answered the question as best I could. Unfortunately, Representative Nash wasn't satisfied with my response to the question, but it did land me a front page photo on the St. Cloud Times that day. So, thank you for that, Representative Nash. And with that, my baptism of fire in the Minnesota House was complete, and my time in office was underway. And I would just really like to share with you a few of the things that meant the most to me about some small ways where I was able to make a difference and make a change over my 8 years. I was very proud and grateful of the work that we were able to do in a bipartisan fashion when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out in 2020. It was a deep time of uncertainty, especially for our frontline workers, those who weren't able to work from Zoom or work from home. Our firefighters, our paramedics, our EMTs, our nurses, our police officers, our child care providers. And this chamber was able to come together and team up with all those frontline workers and pass a workers' compensation presumption. It was a new thing. We made a workers' compensation presumption so that for any of our frontline workers who contracted COVID-19, instead of having to prove that they got it on the job, because how can you do that? If a frontline worker got COVID-19, it was presumed that they got it on the job and they were automatically covered under workers' compensation. What a difference we made. What a life-changing difference that we made for the 360,000 frontline workers. That's how we make a difference. Something else I'm really proud of that's close to my community is the work that we were able to do with the special education cross-subsidy, which is the difference between the amount. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. The state mandates that every school district provides special education services, but unfortunately, the state had only been covering about 5% of that cost, leaving a huge unfunded mandate, forcing our school districts to pit students against each other. It was not a good thing. And my first year, St. Cloud had one of the worst special education cross-subsidies. So I worked with Representative Dabney, who was the chair at the time, to put forward a bill to do a slow ramp-up of aid. It would go 3% the next year, 6% the next year, 9%, 12%. I thought, okay, we're making an incremental difference. Even that couldn't pass. Tried it again the next year. That couldn't pass. Tried it again the year after that. That didn't pass. But we kept fighting, and this is what I want all of you to remember going forward. If you really believe in something, you got to keep fighting for it. And then 2023 came along, and instead of a slow ramp up to 12%, we were able to get that number from 5% to 55%. And I want to thank Chair Joachim for working with me on that. What a difference we made for special education students and educators in school districts all across the state. That's how I made a difference. One last thing I want to share about making a difference that has been a true passion of mine is in the area of pensions and teacher pensions. You know, in Minnesota, we talk a lot about being an education state, but our teachers' pensions are not up to snuff compared to the surrounding states. And I was so proud to work with my friends on the Pensions Commission to make some changes to teachers' pensions, lowering their retirement age, reducing penalties for teachers who retire early. There's a lot of work to be done, but we made a difference for teachers. We got to remember that strong pensions equals strong schools. Those are just a few of the examples that are the most near and dear to my heart. And of course, the biggest thing is the improvements that have been made to St. Cloud. And I've loved serving on the bonding committee and the projects from improving roads in my district, the Herb Brooks Hockey Center, the Children's Museum, the MAC. Those are small things that I was able to make a change in St. Cloud that will make the nitty-gritty Granite City an even better place to live and work and raise a family for generations to come. And I would just ask each of you as we leave, do it. Reflect on what you've done to make a difference and what you've done to make a change, because that's what makes it such a special place to be here. I want to share some thank yous. I'm immensely grateful to the people of St. Cloud for sending me here not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And every one of my campaigns that I ran, I set a goal of knocking on 10,000 doors. And so thanks everyone for opening up your door to me. It has been such an honor to be your voice here. And I'm proud to be able to look any one of my constituents in the eye and tell you that I gave 110%, our staff gave 110% to making your lives better. So thank you for that trust. I want to thank my amazing wife, Erica. She is the most brilliant, beautiful, smart, witty, supporting person that I've ever met. She is my rock, and she does so much to support my service and support our whole family. So thank you to Erica. I also want to thank my daughters, Lily and Polly, who are, like all of us, our children are the reasons why we do this work. We want to make the world a better place for them. And wow, I am just so proud of the young women that they have grown to be. And I know that their time here in the House of Representatives has shaped them and been instrumental to the women that they are growing into. They don't know anything else than being here in the House. And that's one thing that I'm really proud of, that I want to make sure continues, is how much of a children-friendly place this institution is. I'll never forget my first term. It was one of those days in 2019 where it's like negative 30 degrees and school got canceled. I had no childcare. I thought, oh geez, I got to bring my kids in. Everybody's probably going to be cranky with me. But the exact opposite happened. You all stepped up, filling in with snacks and hugs and playing games and books. That's really special, and we need to continue to have a pro-family culture here in the House, letting kids on the floor, having snacks and games in the caucus room. That's a really good thing. So thank you all for the work that you have done to set an example and share love and compassion with Lily and Polly and help them grow into the women that they're being. I want to thank the class of 2018. We call ourselves the Majority Maker class. That's right, that's right, that's right. Give it up for 2018. I love you guys so much. You will forever be my brothers and sisters in service. When I look back on all of the absolutely unprecedented and unique situations that we have been in together, coming in as the only divided government with DFL House, GOP Senate, and the entire nation, coping with the fear and uncertainty of the global pandemic, the tragic murder of George Floyd, the amazing yet incredible responsibility of governing in a trifecta, sticking together as a team to deny quorum and pass a budget with a tied House, and of course, coming together as strong as we did to love each other and support each other and uplift each other with the loss of our beloved leader, Melissa Hortman. The bond that we all, as a class of 2018, and that we all have as a caucus, I really believe is unique in Minnesota history, and that will forever forge, no matter what any of us has to go for in our lives, that will forever forge ironclad, loving partnerships and relationships, and I'm will forever be grateful for that. Of course, none of the work that I've been able to do or any of us have been able to do would be possible without our incredible staff at our side. And I don't know what I did to get so lucky, but I have just absolutely hit the jackpot with all of my legislative assistants. And I would like to start by thanking Tara. Tara was my first legislative assistant, and I will never forget our first day in session. We didn't know each other, we'd never met each other. We got assigned on the first day, and I met Tara in my office, and I had a million things to do. Tara had a million things to do. Neither of us knew what the heck we were doing, but we figured it out. And I was brand new, so I had all these ideas from doing baby letters and town halls and videos and all these things. And Tara was always ready to, to try any trick we could to serve the people of St. Cloud. And Tara, you have just, it's just been such an incredible honor to see you grow into such a strong pillar of this caucus ever since. So thank you, Tara. I also want to thank the other LAs that I've been grateful to have. Kyle, Leah, Elena, Chris, Drew, and Carl. I want to thank you all for the incredible work that you've done, constituent services, supporting the legislation. You are the true staples of why we've been able to accomplish so much here in the House. I also want to thank my incredible higher education team. Sean and Evelyn are just the dream team. What we've been through, running through committee, all of our negotiations, it's just so special. And I don't know what I did to get so lucky to have such amazing people at my side supporting this work, but I'm deeply, deeply grateful for that. And I hope that we will all continue to be as grateful as we should be for our staff. I'm glad that we share a lot of thanks, but we can't just say thanks to them in nice moments at the end of the year. We need to treat our staff with the respect that they deserve. And I have to admit that I have seen where some members don't always do that, unfortunately, where staff have been belittled or degraded in ways, and that cannot be acceptable going forward. We are so lucky to have these people who work countless hours, who could be out there making way more than they do. So please treat our staff with respect, not just on the last day of session, but every single day of the year with our actions. I want to thank the Gold Ties and the Sergeant at Arms teams for all that they do to keep us safe, especially what we've seen this last year and recent years with the rise of political violence that threatens the work that we do in our democracy. You are more important than ever. And you bring the warmth and the joy and the kindness to the job, but don't ever let those big smiles fool you. We have incredibly trained people who are willing to do whatever it takes to keep us safe. And for that, we thank you. You are the core of making sure that we can have a safe and functioning democracy here in the legislature. I also want to give a very special thanks to who I believe are the real unsung heroes of this Capitol, the maintenance crew, who, once we leave and we have all our papers and all of our trash and we leave the caucus room like a waste hazard disaster, should be fumigated. Those are the folks who come in day after day and put in the hard work to make sure that this place absolutely sparkles for the work that we do here on behalf of Minnesotans. I want to give an especial heartfelt thanks to our Chief Clerk, Patrick Murphy, and the entire Chief Clerk's office. Members, my favorite times here in these 8 years of the House were serving as the Speaker Pro Tem, and the hours and hours and hours that we spent up on that rostrum. For those who have done it, it's unlike anything that you've ever done in the world. It feels like you're flying a spaceship there's so many things happening all the time. And we have such an incredible crew that keep that ship afloat. And in addition to the knowledge and the expertise that they bring, they are so kind. And they're always looking out for us as members, bringing that kindness. And I just want to give a special recognition to the candy bowl. I mean, how would we function without that candy? Am I right? As much as we like to go back and forth, I think it's hard to be really mad at each other when we're munching on our third Snickers bar. So thank you for that candy. And Pat, what an honor it has been to be your student. I I've just so enjoyed learning about procedure and about leadership and about the rules from you. And some of my favorite times these last 8 years are when we've sat down in the retiring room and go through everything, and we just get into it. We go through all the procedures, and we'll go, oh my God, we've been in here for 6 hours. We better wrap it up. And then we proceed to go on for another hour and a half until, but no, Pat, you're a national treasure, and thank you for what you do for this institution and for our families. We love and appreciate you and are so grateful for you and your entire team. So thank you, Pat. Thank you. Last, I want to say thank you to Mark and Melissa and Gilbert Hortman for the light and love that they have brought to all of our lives. I miss them. I love them. I think about them every day. Melissa was brilliant. She was a master strategist. She was a courageous leader. She was tough as nails. She knew how to get things done. But the most important contribution that she made to this institution and that she has made to all of our lives was that she had a divine ability to see the humanity in each and every one of us. She knew that with all the bills, all the rules, all the back and forth, that we are human beings. And that was reflected in the work that she did. Melissa, before her time, the House would meet past God knows what hours. Melissa made it a priority and a new custom that the House not meet past midnight so that members and staff could get the rest that they need and deserve. Even in the midst of huge negotiations, I would always appreciate getting a text from Melissa and asking me to join her on a Target run so that she could get snacks to feed hungry members and staff. And I had just such cherished memories going with her and having fun thinking about what snacks our members would want to eat. And who remembers the legendary speaker snack cart, right? Melissa really saw the humanity in each and every one of us. And as we go forward in this house, I hope that for those of us who are leaving, whatever we have next, that we bring that humanity with us. I hope that for those of you who are staying here, that you keep that humanity with you and with this chamber, because as we continue to dive deeper and deeper into social media videos and artificial intelligence, we continue to get more and more dehumanized and to see each other as pawns and fodder for getting likes and clicks and all of that. So I really hope that you will remember Melissa Hortman and her legacy. She and Mark and Gilbert dedicated their lives to make a difference. They dedicated their lives to make a change. And may that change continue to live on in each of every one of us with that spirit of service and that spirit of humanity. Madam Speaker and members, I would like to close by sharing the most powerful blessing that I know, the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make the Minnesota House of Representatives an instrument of your will. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood is to understand, to be loved is to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Thank you to the people of St. Cloud. Thank you, members, and thank you, Madam Speaker.